friend Silver here, and this is No Man's Sky. So I've been pretty excited for this game, and actually contrary to what a lot of people have said on the internet, I've had a wonderful experience with this game so far. I've only played it for a handful of hours, and I'm playing on the PC, but it's been exactly what I thought it would be, which is a low-key exploring game where you just look at really weird shit like this and go, that's cool. I'm like, look at this thing. That is weird as fuck. But anyway, what this video is going to be is mostly a kind of a vague tutorial, tips and tricks sort of thing, because a lot of the game is not intuitive. Now, in other games that have very explicit tutorials, people are always like, oh, well, always. I don't want to make just some kind of fictitious straw man sort of thing, but people often complain that tutorials, like, oh, yeah, press X to open the door or something, and you're like, yeah, I know. But this game really doesn't tell you much of anything, which has gotten some people into trouble. And as you can see, that planet is hot, so I had to run into the cave. Because it's during the day. So, a couple of things I want to point out. I did have to do a couple of things to get the game to run smoothly. It never crashed on me, but it was very choppy when I first started playing it. So, what I did was I went into the menu here and went to the graphics, and it was defaultly set to 30 FPS, which is the max on the PlayStation, or not the max, but that's what it's set to on PlayStation. So, I raised that to 90, and interestingly, even though I have a very good computer, it doesn't get 90 FPS, it gets a stable 60. So, I don't know whether that's it's mislabeled or it's some sort of weird lack of optimization. I don't know why this is on medium. I set this to high. I guess I maybe forgot to save it, but it looks pretty good. My FOV is set to 85. Let's set it to 90. Why not? I don't know why it was set to 95, to 85 rather, but it was set to 90. I had to actually do some work to get this to truly be borderless. I tried setting it to borderless in here, and I couldn't Alt-Tab. Or rather, I could Alt-Tab, I couldn't get back in. The game would just not let me back in. It gave me, if I clicked it enough times, it gave me some weird message about either Steam's not running or you don't have a valid credential, or I don't know what the hell it was saying, but it wouldn't work. So what I had to do is go into the actual graphics file and open it in a text editor, and I had to change some of the commands around. I had to make, like full screen false and borderless true, and then it worked. That was also, so I had to do another, or I did another change, and this was based on something I saw on the subreddit, that if you turned the G-Sync off, the G-Sync is defaultly set to true in the same text file, or it's not, if you open a text editor, if you change the G-Sync setting to false, it runs a little bit smoother, and it was running pretty smoothly for me, but it did seem to get me some better continuity and just some smoother gameplay, so I recommend doing that too. But one of the other things, and sorry to keep on jumping into the options menu, the least interesting thing about this game, but it will really improve the quality of your gaming life, is going to the controls, and if you're using a gamepad, the keyboard mouse buttons are pretty good, but the gamepad, I'm using a 360 controller because I like to be lazy and sit back and not be kind of leaning forward towards the keyboard if I'm playing a game like this. Changing them, because the default gamepad settings are so bad. It's like somebody who had never fucking used a controller in an FPS game before decided what buttons things should be. Because by default, well, first off, a lot of people didn't even know there was a sprint, because on the PlayStation, the default, and on the computer, if you're using a gamepad, the default sprint button is R3. Every FPS game I've ever seen, the default button is L3. As you've seen, I've changed it here because I'm a normal person who has played FPS games before. So you want to probably do that if you're using a gamepad. But you can sprint. You don't just... a lot of people on the PlayStation 4, because of this, didn't know that you could run in this game. They tried pressing L3, it didn't work, and they were like, I guess I walk everywhere. So recommend always checking out your settings and changing them. And also another thing is there is a flashlight in this game. I think they call it torch because they're all British-like. So it's called a torch, it's a flashlight, and it only works at night. Like, see, it's daytime, and I'm pressing the button, it's up on the D-pad, and nothing happens. You can only use your flashlight at night. I have no idea that... I'm assuming that'll get fixed in a patch, because that's just stupid. Like, what, your suit, just like the circuits aren't connected during the day, it somehow knows, and it's like, oh... You're never going to need to explore a dark cave. I mean, there are lights almost everywhere from glowing cool plants and stuff, but I would like to be able to use my flashlight whenever I want to, not just when somehow it knows the planet's night cycle has kicked in. So that's kind of a dumb thing that'll probably get fixed, but there is a flashlight if you do want to wander around at night, so I recommend using that if you want to. And, oh, and there is a melee button. I don't know, I haven't fought, like, all the animals I've encountered on this planet so far have been pretty peaceful. So, I don't know whether you'll ever want to melee something. I can't imagine that'd be very useful. If you're meleeing something, you're probably going to get killed by it, but there is a melee, and I rebound it to my right stick. But the interesting thing about the melee is if you notice, it does a little dash. You do a little kind of a little shoulder rush. But this is giving you forward momentum, and if you couple this with your little jetpack here, you have a little jetpack, you can see the icon in the lower right corner, tells you how much jetpack resource you have left. If you're moving forward and you do your little dash, I messed it up there, but if you're moving forward, you do your little dash and you use the jetpack at the same time, you will inherit the forward momentum and you'll go pretty quickly. So let's try to do it. Yeah, there we go. So now I'm kind of flying through the air a lot faster, and this is a faster way to traverse the surface, but it's also really fun. So I definitely recommend doing that just because it's fucking awesome. Another cool thing to know is, I mean, one of the things you're going to be doing a lot in this game is mining. And so you send out your little scanner, and you're going to want to scan basically constantly. As you can see, scanning will provide you with different sort of, it'll point out where points of interest are, things you might want to notice. Red here corresponds to isotopes. Isotopes are fuel sources, or rather resource, they're a resource for your mining tool power, your suit's life support system, and they're just kind of denoted by red icons. There are other types, as you can see up there. There's yellow. Yellow are what are that ores? I know iron is one of them. Iron, titanium. They're usually used for your ship. So if you need stuff for your ship, you'll look for the yellow stuff. There's also blue. I don't see any blue around here. Oh, there's a blue. So blue, that helps improve, that replenishes your personal shield that you have. You know, your kind of Halo, Mass Effect-like shield that helps protect you from the elements. There's also purple. Purple is sort of like artifacts. At least that's what it seems to be for me. Whenever I've seen purple, it's been one of the stones, the knowledge stones that teaches you alien languages. And I'm sure that cool things like alien temples. Actually, that's probably a point of interest. It might not just be a simple purple interface. Yeah, they'd probably have a different interface color, but that's basically a little bit what the colors mean. But the really interesting thing about mining is that, and this might be an exploit, but if you look, there's a little gauge in the upper, you can see it better there, a little gauge in the upper right corner, and that is the cooldown of your mining laser, or so you would think, or your mining beam. Let's get the term correct. So as you can see, I'm blasting this thing, it's going up, and then you would think, okay, it needs to cool down, right? But no, as soon as you're done using it, you can use it immediately again. The cooldown is a lie. So I just take a look at this. I'll get it almost full. I stop for a second, and then I can use it again, and it just restarts from the beginning. And so the cooldown isn't really there. So I think this is probably a glitch and will be patched out because it essentially has no cooldown. It can only overheat, but up to that point, you can just keep on doing it endlessly. So definitely take advantage of that if it, well, you can, and maybe it'll never get fixed because it's pretty sweet, actually. So that's a really useful thing if you're going to be mining lots of, well, if you're going to be mining. To play the game, you have to mine the hell out of everything, so you'll definitely be mining a lot, and definitely take advantage of that. So, one other thing you might be wondering when you turn on the game is how the hell do you save? And that was something I was wondering. So you save by getting into your ship and then leaving. If you just get into your ship, the game hasn't saved. Once you get out, you'll see restore point saved. And I don't know why they didn't just say saved, but restore point saved and you're saved. So that is how you save, and I've also read, I haven't encountered any outposts yet, but if at outposts apparently you can save. So I was reading a review online of this game while I was still waiting for it when it was only out for the PlayStation early in the week. And one of the reviewers was lamenting the fact that there is no way to know when your inventory is full. Basically what he was saying was that when your inventory is full and you find a resource that you need, and maybe it's rare, you mine it, it breaks into its component parts, but then you can't collect it because your inventory is full and it just disappears and you lose that resource, which totally sucks. However, there is, and my inventory is not full right now and there aren't enough rare things around to fill it with, unfortunately. But when your inventory is full, you do in the lower right corner get a little indicator that is red, and it's showing you that your inventory is full. So if you do see that, notice that, oh, what you need to do is just go and transfer stuff to your ship. So you can see these are your ship slots, but hold on. So this is what's going to be on your actual character. And then if you just if you just press Y, you'll send it over to your starship. And the sizes of the slots are different actually between what you can carry on yourself and what goes on your ship. So these each carry up to 250 resources, whereas the ones on your ship are 500. So they're twice as big. And I think the dev said, or Sean Murray said that they're going to probably increase all of these at some point. So this will probably jump up to 1,000, and then this will probably jump up to 500 at some point. I don't know what at some point means. He's vague, as he often is with things, but it's good knowing that it'll increase at some point. Obviously, as your suit gets better, you'll have more slots, but it's good knowing that, I mean, at a certain point, you'll have a ton of stuff, and you'll have a finite amount of slots. I'm assuming the whole screen isn't just going to be slots, so it's good to hear that. Well, it's night now, and see, I can prove to you that the flashlight works. So, yeah, I bet you're thrilled. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this sort of tips, tricks, tutorial impressions video. I really like the game. I like how pretty and colorful and weird it is. I enjoy that it doesn't really have structure or a narrative, and that it's sort of just, here are things that are weird. Look at them, and mine stuff. So that appeals to me. If that sounds like it would bore you, you're probably right. You probably know yourself. So, in that case, maybe don't buy the game, or just watch videos of people like me playing it. I will play this game a lot more. I'm going to make more No Man's Sky videos. Maybe if I notice anything else, I'll make a little short kind of tip trick video explaining stuff, but mostly it would probably just be showing off the planets, see how they look cool stuff like, you know, got this moon, or maybe this is the moon and that's the planet, who knows, and this cool kind of green aurora borealis sort of thing that goes on at night, which is awesome. And I'll also be doing some videos kind of in character, like some of our other videos, trying to at least be funny. So if that appeals to you, then I welcome you to subscribe and like the video if you like the video, and tune in next time. More content like this on its way.